Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Steel City Speedsters here at Pittsburgh Gaming Expo 2025. I'm Toronite. Yes, you probably have seen me already on the as the host for the Zelda run and a bunch of other runs yesterday and Pokemon TCG. I wear a lot of hats, and we are going to wear one more today. Actually, technically, two more today. We're going to be running Ghostland Yard. Thank you so much for the people who donated to bring this game and also another extra treat that we got coming up after this game. But we'll worry about that later. We are now going to go into Ghostland Yard. It is a fantastic game made a couple of years ago by Obelisk Studios over there in France, and it is a love letter to speedrunning in general. In fact, it even has a speedrunning section, which will be what we use the run for. So, there's a lot of accessibility options. We can do speedrun the entire game, go for different worlds, specifically options. We can go through just a lot of different stuff. Time is going to start. First of all, we're going to actually not include races because that's not part of the 90% run. We're now going to start the run in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. Which is perfect because we could have taken our sweet time. Time actually does begin on first movement, which is already a really, really nice thing in terms of the of speed running. So honestly, the game is this is Ghostland Yard. It's a precision platformer. You can think of it, something like a Super Meat Boy, but with a cute little ghost instead. His name is Poe. He is a lovely, lovely little chap. And there are 120 levels in 90% plus 6 boss levels that we are going to go through in the next, hopefully half an hour. Ooh, okay, that's fine. And like I said, very, very, very well-made precision platformer made by Obelisk Games. It's a fantastic, fantastic job that is really just about open for anyone that wants to try out this sort of genre of game. I am personally not a big player on precision platformers, but I learned this game last year, or rather, I picked this game last year from the Terra Stark, who I would say pretty much has been the flag bearer for increasing this game's popularity in the United States. It's pretty big with European speedrunners. It even got a showcase race at Speed-Ons earlier this year, which is this massive speedrun marathon in France. So what you saw kind of right there is kind of an example that we'll see throughout the entire run. Pink means bad. If you touch anything that is pink, you automatically die. But thankfully, because of the way this game is designed, very well made, it's very, very optimized in terms of, if you die, boom, quick reset, and we can just move on to to restart the level. So there's hardly ever any actual time, things that will waste you time here in this game. Everything is very quick, very precise, to the point. And we're going to see, and right now this tutorial world called the Caves is pretty much kind of just your, standard tutorial levels where you're just basically kind of going through the motions and learning the game as you go, introducing kind of new elements that you'll kind of see throughout the game. However, every world has its own little unique gimmick. And this one is basically like a tutorial world, nothing too fancy. But now that we're done with our first 20 levels, we're going to encounter our boss. There's no real combat in this game. So instead, with a lot of these bosses, you see these little switches, they turn green. All we got to do is go into those switches and touch them, and boom, we already deal damage. That's essentially how we deal damage. We don't do it directly, but we get to figure out a way to beat those bosses quickly. There's hardly ever any RNG in this game, which actually is fantastic because it basically puts the game in your control, with maybe 2 exceptions. And this boss is one of the only few instances of RNG in this game where you don't know where those levers are going to turn green, so you got to be very, very precise. Now we're already done with World 1, and we're now into World 2, which I'm going to be honest, in just a second, I'm going to shut up for like about 5-10 seconds to let y'all appreciate the music, because this is, in my opinion, the best music, for the best world music in the entire game. But if you're kind of now seeing, jumped a little bit early there. As you kind of see over here, you're going to now introducing these little saws that are just kind of spinning around, and same rules apply as before. Pink means death. And you're kind of now seeing, like, a lot of these levels are starting to get a lot bigger and bigger. And And one thing that, as this game kind of expands on every single level individually, the cool thing is it opens up possibilities to really showcase what a high-level runner, not to toot my own horn, but someone who is has only a few minutes away from matching world record. You'll get to see some of these levels kind of essentially be explored like only a quarter of it, half of it, because we basically have kind of learned and discovered shortcuts throughout this game's relatively short history as far as speedrunning is concerned. So we are going to go, I'm taking a little bit safe because obviously this is not my usual setup. I've never ran this game on anything other than my laptop, so we are going to kind of taking it, making sure we really take our time and don't make any unnecessary careless mistakes right here. And boom, this is kind of an example of what I just mentioned is the fact that some of these levels, you'll see like there's a big chunk of it that we don't even get to explore. Like this one, we don't even explore the entire left side of it with a very well-timed and very, very precise corner jump. Ah, there we go. That's what I'm talking about, the music. Like, who knew bagpipes would actually go so hard? I mean, that was a given, but for anyone that was doubting whether or not bagpipes rock, well, there's your example. Ooh, wow. Kind of went almost on autopilot there for a second and nearly took a death right there. I kind of caught myself before I took a death right there. That is one thing about this game is that it does, the way some of these levels are designed, extremely well designed. It kind of lets you if you get into a groove, it lets you kind of achieve a bit of a flow state, which is basically like you're kind of just going through the game. You can almost do no wrong, and you're just essentially on cruise control and just clearing some of these levels left and right. However, there's some levels where if you're not ultra precise with some of the timing of your jumps, you could find yourself taking a death that you normally probably wouldn't see coming, but the timing of some of these jumps and some of the cycles are extremely precise. We're going to see in Boss 2, it's a big old chase. We think we're done. However, ding. Hollywood Tower of Terror right there. So we got to make sure I can clear these because you kind of don't see them coming, and they're not always in the same place. Thankfully, we clear them. No problems whatsoever. Yeah, the way this game kind of operates a little bit with some of the levels is the cycles are global. So meaning that it's not a point where you see, boom, you see the sauce, and that's kind of where you see the cycle start. No, the cycle starts when you start the level. So the movement that you do in some of these levels where there is a global cycle to be concerned about, that your movement, even getting to the point, to that point, does matter a lot and can play a role in whether or not you finish the level or you're kind of forced to reset or you take a death right there. World 3, we kind of now starting to see some new mechanics. The first big gimmick about this one is moving platforms. Now, you would think that it's just going to be a lot of auto-scoreless, but no, we ain't got time for that. This is a speed run. We don't have time for doing auto-scoreless the way they are intended. So this is kind of now where we're seeing the second gimmick of this, of World 3, which is these little gusts of wind. They kind of serve as your way of like gravity manipulations, to put a term on it. They either can push you up, stick you into the ceiling, or push you down. And this is kind of where movement control really starts to make a huge, huge difference, because you're kind of now seeing some of these levels and obstacles. The pink is starting to grow, and it's becoming a point where, yeah, you cannot be. There we go. You cannot be reckless with the way you move. Like some of these windows to get in between some of these pink rocks is not easy at all to go through. But yeah, now that we're kind of just now getting into the groove of things with World 3, I do want to, again, shout out Assemble Pittsburgh, a phenomenal group of people doing... wow, that's actually interesting. Doing their best to kind of help with furthering the education, especially in the arts, amongst other subjects in the Pittsburgh area for not just youth, but for people of all different ages. And the donations that we've received up to this point for these first 2 days at PGX has been nothing short of phenomenal. It really just it warms my heart tremendously seeing all these donations for such a great cause. Right, there we go. Yeah, no, this is, yeah, some of these levels are, I would say the difficulty does not really ramp up until the second half of World 3. That's where kind of things start to get a little bit tricky. So it is exceptionally difficult. And also, I mean, this game is not easy. Don't get it twisted. I mean, even the world record holder of this game, shout out to Thrice, by the way, unbelievable runner of this game who has dedicated an indescribable amount of time into perfecting and optimizing this run. I believe his world record does have like a depth or two, so it's kind of really, really hard to be, you know, quote unquote perfect in this game. But thanks to a lot of the dedicated runners of this game, just kind of finding ways to further push and perfect a lot of the mechanics and a lot of the movement here. Ooh, that's... Yes, yeah, the gust of wind can be a little bit, not imprecise, but if you don't know, if you take sort of a wrong jump at the wrong time, even by a fraction of a second, yeah, that's where it kind of starts to get a little bit annoying. Okay, Moss 3, this is everyone's kind of big run killer boss in the run. This is... I'm willing to say that no boss, no level has killed more runs in this game than Boss 3. There's a lot of stuff that you kind of have to be very wary of. You see the lasers he's shooting out, the little balls that can touch you. By the way, again, pink means death. Let's remember. Oh wait, wow, that is close. And maybe you didn't notice it, but you kind of see a little reticle there. This dog is going to be chasing you and following your every movement. Oh my god, that's... Can I just say, a no-reset marathon run getting through Boss 3 deathless is an incredibly impressive thing. Whew. That... I'm going to be real. I honestly feel a little bit better now. Okay, that's... a little bit unusual. Like I said, I'm playing with a slightly different setup than my usual setup. So this is kind of, I'm still kind of learning a little bit on the fly about this current setup. However, going for World 4, you're kind of now starting to see these little orbs kind of slingshotting you into, okay? Kind of slingshotting you all the way across the level. World 4, I believe, have the largest collection of levels in terms of pure size, because these things will take you everywhere throughout the level. And there's some of these levels don't have like a clear indication of where you want to go, or as clear as some players might want. So a lot of it is kind of a lot of experimentation, a lot of leaps of faith per se. But the cool thing about this game is that it does reward exploration of how you want to beat these levels. No level, hardly any level in this game has one singular way to beat it. There's a lot of different ways, a lot of different shortcuts that can be used to try and access the end of the levels. And I think that's a huge credit to this game in that it's not just oh, you have to use this one method, otherwise you're not going to beat the level. There's a lot of different strategies and a lot of different movement tech that different runners employ, partially not just from skill level, but also from comfort level, which is super appreciated because, like I said, this game can be a little bit intense for people who are not new to, or for people who are new to precision platformers, such as myself. When I first started this game, to kind of first say, my PB in this game right now is a 24:13, if memory serves me correctly. The first time I ever did a run of this game, my PB was 1 hour and 47 minutes. And I say these times in in-game time because if you kind of noticed, the timer is a little bit different from the top left corner of the game screen compared to the RTA screen that we have on our beautiful, beautiful layout that was curated for this event. And that is because this game on leaderboards, it is made with it's, again, love letter to speedrunning. This has a very well-made in-game timer, which will basically time things all the way to the hundredths of a second. So you know precisely what your time actually is. So it doesn't take into account, you know, loading times. It doesn't take into account a bunch of other miscellaneous things that don't have to include, that don't involve the actual level itself. And not only that, this game also has, on Live Split, it has an auto splitter. So you actually are able to just be able to, if you have auto splitter on your Live Split with this game, you can essentially track how you did in every single level in this game. Like I said, down to like the decimal points, which is a absolutely fantastic tool to have if you're looking to improve in this game. Shout out to Streakback Guy for making this auto splitter in the first place. Wow, this Gus here is being extremely annoying. There we go. So now we're also kind of starting to see elements of prior worlds start to come into play in terms of obstacles. And as you kind of see the slingshot, you see the gust of wind kind of, you know, propelling you upwards or downwards. And now you're also seeing the sauce also come into play. Let's see if I can time this very well. Nicely done. All right. That is 419. We're actually already on the final level of World 4. And you may be thinking to yourself, wait a minute, we're like, what are we? We're not even 20 minutes into the run. I have no idea what the actual timer is. I can only go by the in-game timer, but I'm willing to bet we're probably not even 20 minutes into the run. Does that mean that the next couple of worlds are going to be a little daunting? Well, yes. So this is boss 4. Quite a lot to kind of take in. So anyways, hopefully y'all are having a wonderful time because, yeah, no, this, you know, this boss is kind of interesting. A lot of waiting, you know. You know, if I had to watch, I'd be looking at it very condescendingly right now. So, yeah, no, there's a lot of waiting in this boss. This is, I believe, the second longest boss in the game. So, and it's a lot of it has to do with waiting. Oh, unfortunate. Kind of hit the corner, and it just didn't push me into the direction I want to. That's fine. Not the end of the world right there. It's kind of a similar thing with the levers that you see, and you think like, oh yeah, that's gonna be. Ooh, beautiful. Okay, so yeah, you kind of see with these levers, obviously, they activate the slingshot. So hitting the levers itself does not cause damage. It's getting the boss to get into these little slingshot thingies. And yes, that is the proper term. I decreed it as such. They are slingshot. Oh, okay. Unfortunate. Yeah, the little goo kind of stuck you. We didn't really talk a whole lot about the goo, but yeah, the goo just kind of basically sticks you up to a wall, and it can be a little bit of annoying. If you notice a little bit on surfaces where there is no green goo, Poe, our main protagonist, kind of slides down a little bit. Like gravity is kind of taking over for a quick second. Not the case when you're stuck in the green goop, which can be both a good thing and a bad thing. And, ooh, missed it again. Okay, that's honestly completely fine. Like, we're still more than okay right now at this moment. The only thing we have to be very, very careful of is making sure that, okay, that was very, very close for a second. All right, back to... Okay, that was an exceptionally strange cycle. Okay, this is a very strange cycle that I've been going through, but that is fine. Yeah, no, I should not have hit it that early, but that's fine. It's activated, meaning that I really kind of don't have to be concerned at all. We just have to make sure he hits it. There we go. All right, boom. Boss 4 done. We're now heading into World 5, which is, in my opinion, or at least, I'm not going to say it is the best world. It is my favorite world because it introduces my favorite mechanic in this game. These little multi-jump orbs where you're kind of now seeing how they play into effect. Lets us do a lot of really cool stuff in terms of movement tech with being able to jump multiple times. Oh. For a moment, I was so enamored with the multi-jump that I forgot that I don't have it at all times. We actually need to have these little orbs at every single level in order to multi-jump. And now you kind of, and I do love the ambiance, like the color choice in this world, the design. I think this world 5 is absolutely perfect. From like the kind of like aquatic like ambiance this game exudes, not just with the music, but also with like the color choices, the blue and the pink just kind of blending in so well. I just absolutely love it. This is kind of another great example of the multi-jump kind of skipping a large portion of the level with some really well-timed movement tech right there. Right, this one, yeah, this one's kind of a doozy right there, and there we go. That little, yeah, throwing the needle at the start of the level is kind of diabolical, if you ask me. But having run through this level thousands of times at this point, this game is it's so much fun. You get so engrossed in this game. It's a wonder for anyone to pick up this game and not just immediately fall in love with it. And I've gone through so many runs of this game and gone through every single level meticulously. So much so that like I've really started to pick up a lot of tricks from like a lot of other runners with similar experiences throughout the game, and it is a lot of fun. This game is, like I said, it's a love letter to speedrunning, and given how wonderful the speedrunning community is in general, like it's no wonder how this it's no wonder that the people who do run this game just do an absolutely amazing job with not just optimizing the game, but also sharing some of their advice and findings on how to tackle certain levels, and also shout out to the developers of this game as well for that part, because we haven't really. There's kind of no real way to access it from the speedrunning section of this game, but if you play the ILs of any level, if you pause the game, you actually will get to see how your friends who played this game actually tackle every individual level. This has a built-in global leaderboard integrated with Steam, so you can actually see every single person, or at least like the top whatever number of people the leaderboard will show, including your friends. And not only will you able to get to see how they tackle levels, you can actually not download, but you can put their ghost data, get it? Because post a ghost. Their ghost data, and you'll be able to actually do a run like simultaneously as the ghost data from whoever it is that you end up using that ghost data for. So it really, there's so many great tools about this into this game that I absolutely adore. So anyway, Boss 5 kind of operates a little bit differently. Gone are the switches that, they turn green, but instead, now we have these little green boxes, containers, whatever you want to call them. And we have to go for every single one of them, touch them, and we just automatically win the game. And first try, boom. Shadows, again, this is what I'm talking about. I had a completely different route that lost me really about 15 seconds, even on my best days. But shout out to Terra Stark, who showed me, and me studying from her prior runs, how to tackle that boss in a more effective manner and closer to what world record does. So, like I said, there's so many tools, and the people who run this game are such lovely, lovely people, always willing to help out. And also the devs, the developers of this game are always willing to kind of like either offer advice or share insight into the game that really is not only super interesting, but also potentially very helpful in terms of being able to improve at the game and sort of understand the ins and outs of the game, because there's a lot of mechanics in this game that you kind of learn by yourself in... Ooh, okay, that's not... This level is kind of an annoying troll. All right, so World 6 kind of introduces a lot of mechanics from essentially every single prior world. However, it doesn't mean that mechanics are not new mechanics aren't introduced in this world. As you kind of see, these little orange bars and these little blue bars, where they kind of becomes obstacles and open new gateways throughout the rest of the level. And we touch these little orbs to kind of make them appear and disappear, and that is one half of this gimmick. The second half, which is going to be introduced in just a second, is cycles being introduced. So you no longer have to worry about turning them on and off. They will do it by themselves. However, that's where kind of like the platforming challenge comes into play like this. The timing and beating some of these levels very, very quickly is not easy at all. Ooh, there we go. Ooh, just narrowly beat it. There we go. Yeah, some of these levels are exceptionally tough. Even in my PB, which my PB beat the first or second world record held by Ruto. It is a phenomenal run in which was a world record less than a year ago. My world record, not my world record, I wish, but my PB loses about 30 seconds to here in World 6 because of how difficult it is. And when you're on PB pace, the nerves really start to come into play a lot. But right now we're here at PGX. We're having a lot of fun. It's gonna be we're playing one of my absolute favorite games ever to speed run, Ghostland Yard, and it's been a fun weekend. We've had a lot of just absolutely phenomenal runs being showcased, and I couldn't be prouder of the team here. Ooh, yeah. Kind of time to jump a little bit late. Let's see if I can time this right. There we go. Okay, yeah. It's too late to kind of blame that I'm not using my old controller. Not because my old controller, not because I don't like my old controller. It's because it's on its last legs, and honestly, this controller does feel nice. Shout out to Dag for lending me his controller for this one, but it is quite a learning adjustment a little bit. But this is still a really solid run, very, very solid run for no resetting. And boom, there we go. Yeah, you kind of saw the multi-jump moons kind of come into play, like right there, and a couple of levels here in World 6. Like I said, every gimmick from prior levels basically gets reshuffled and reintroduced in a manner that makes some of these levels exceptionally difficult to run against. So this one is exceptionally annoying. And there we go. Yep. All right, here comes boss 6. The final boss. We are basically at the end game, but boy, is this not... This does not mean that it is a walk in the park. So there are 3 phases into this boss fight. However, you've noticed in boss 4 that if I took a death right there, I took a death right at the end, I have to restart the entire boss fight. Not the case in this one, for good reason. See, all of that, that was phase 1. That was the shortest phase. This is the one boss in the run where checkpoints are allowed. They are, and it is the default for this boss to have checkpoints. So if I died at this point, I just get to restart from the point of after the little maze inside of the boss. So, kind of see a lot of like past mechanics also introduced into the chase segment, as I like to call them. Well, of course, this section is also technically a chase segment because this is the little dock from Boss 3. So far, so good. Not bad at all. Let's see if we can solo the final boss, which would be absolutely fantastic. By the way, shoutouts to Commander Dog right there in the background. Bit of a kind of like a little mascot of the game, besides Poe, of course. So, ooh, okay, yeah, not unfortunate. Okay, let's see if this will happen. All right. If I can go for this maze, I will say when it is time, but need concentrate. Okay. Time will go in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Now, that's time. Woo! There we go. That is Ghostland Yard. Very much, I love this game. Like I said, I've been grinding this game entirely all throughout the year, and I'm in the top 10 of this game through sheer dedication. But I couldn't have done it. I didn't do this. I didn't get this PB by myself. This was all from the wonderful community of Ghostland Yard, to all my friends who have picked up this game. Shout outs to, first of all, to my thrice world record holder who has given me some advice on some things that has certainly helped me. I study a lot from his run. That has really been a big reason why my PB is where it is right now. It's a 24-13 if I remember. Shout outs again to Tara, who was really the main reason I even picked up this game in the first place. I saw her run this game on stream. It was interesting, and I picked it up. And then the butterfly effect that ensued from that one time I saw her stream and play this game, it's like a Hollywood script. And also, shout out to all my friends who run this game. Oddkara, King J, mainly Maeve. A lot of great, wonderful people who run this game. Even people who don't do any percent runs, who still love going through the ILs and setting individual world records on some of these ILs. Like Toasted Cat, shout out to him, for example, who was a exceptional pyro runner. Also, this game invites a lot of people from different aspects of the speedrunning community. I started out as a card game speedrunner and then a Spyro speedrunner. But this game is so charming. The music is wonderful. The controls, the mechanics are extremely tight. It is very well done, very well designed. I am very proud to say that I am a avid lover and runner of this game, because it is just exceptionally wonderful. And I couldn't thank everyone. I couldn't thank Obelisk Studios Obelisk Games for making this game. It is, again, huge love letter to speedrunning. So that about does it for me. You can find me on Twitch, same name, Toronite. I run a million different things, from various Pokemon games. This game, for example, Spyro, both the OG and the Reignited trilogy. I run Mario Golf for the Game Boy Color as well. Just kind of show all the different flavors of speedrunning I do. And I will be back on the host mic tomorrow morning with a couple of runs with Threech kicking. Threech was my host for yesterday for Pokemon TCG. Now I'm hosting her run. Also hosting Mirrorwood, doing Wario Land 4. Very much a lot to look forward to for tomorrow. So that is it for me. Everyone, thank you so much. Shout out to Steel City Speedsters and Pittsburgh Gaming Expo for making all this possible. Have a good night, everyone. Y'all stay safe. Pittsburgh Gaming Expo, everyone who is here, very much enjoy the rest of the expo.